Good morning, everyone. We're about 4 or 5 minutes from starting. I'm going to play a Merry Christmas song to get us in the spirit. Dr. Carter, I like that. Looks like, is that a snow-laden picture behind you there? It's making me think that it's winter. All right, well, here we go.
Yes, sir, it is.
Good, good.
Christmas is a time for peace. It's a time for love. It's a time for you and me. It's filled with wonder, it's filled with hope. You can feel it everywhere you go. So just imagine peace on earth this Christmas, for the children and the children yet to come. It just takes one day like Christmas to make the world a better place for everyone. Christmas is a time to look inside. Open up our hearts. Open up our eyes. See that we are brothers and sisters too. It's really not that hard for us to do. So just imagine peace on earth this Christmas, for the children and the children yet to come. It just takes one day like Christmas. Make the world a better place for everyone. Christmas is a time for us to give. To share a smile, feel like a kid. So won't you join us in our Christmas wish that we could all share a Christmas gift. Christmas is a time for peace. It's a time for love. It's a time for you and me. It's filled with wonder. It's filled with hope. And you can feel it everywhere you go. So just imagine peace on earth this Christmas, for the children and the children yet to come. It just takes one day. Better place for everyone. Oh yeah, let's make the world a better place for everyone. Make the world a better place for everyone.
Welcome to everyone and a very happy holidays from GRREC. Hopefully you could take a deep breath. We did a breathing exercise at the co-op directors retreat this fall. I think we took in a breath for 3 seconds, held it for 4, and then breathed it out for 7. And I had no idea how long and how sometimes how rapid my breathing becomes in anxious moments. And so I hope that you can take a deep breath, literally and figuratively this morning, and enjoy some time together with fellow superintendents and our guests that are joining us this morning. of the many things that COVID has taken from us in 2020, one of the things I'd come to enjoy most as a superintendent at Russellville Independent was the chance to come in December and get a fabulous breakfast at GRREC and get to see folks and get to see our retired superintendents and spend some time with them and our guests and just really enjoy some fellowship going into the holiday season. It doesn't quite feel like that this year for many reasons, but hopefully you have been able to receive your Chick-fil-A card if you're a superintendent or a retired superintendent, and you can still enjoy that breakfast on us. It's just not quite the same as being here together, but it's the next best thing we could do for you. You've been through a lot this semester, and today is a busy meeting as well, but the last 48 hours have been one more whirlwind of information for us all. And I know that you're trying to process all that. I've had several superintendents say this morning that they'll be on and off due to emergency principal meetings and just trying to make some decisions as Friday gets here rapidly. So I understand all that, but thank you for joining us and spending some time with us this morning. I'll turn it over to our executive committee chairperson, Dr. Kirk Biggerstaff.
Thanks, Bart. We appreciate that. And I just want to echo everything that you have said. It's definitely been a challenging time for all of us for the past 7, 8, 9 months, however long it's been. But, you know, educators always rise to the challenge. And I think that we are providing our students the best possible education considering the circumstances. I think everybody's going above and beyond. And I just want to applaud the work of all of our fellow superintendents, principals, teachers, staff members for making this work in a very difficult time. Luckily, I think we all see a light at the end of the tunnel with the development of the effective vaccine. So I'm looking forward to getting back to what we call normalcy. I'll go ahead and start off by doing the roll call. When I call your name, please say here or present. Adair County, Pam Stevens.
Brandon said he was a little raw.
Allen County, Travis Hamby.
I told Marty.
Barron County, Bo Matthews.
So I asked
Good
him
morning.
to shoot his ass hard.
Somebody's
The,
microphone is on, and we probably want to figure out who that is.
No. And I said, well.
Is it Deanna? Deanna, your microphone is on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No
I'm
problem.
present. Sorry.
Kirk, you are muted. I don't know if you're, Kirk, you're muted. I
Sorry.
don't know if you're calling people or not.
Sorry.
The
We're
world
in a
of
bad shape
2020
this
Zoom.
morning. Bowling Green, Gary Fields.
I'm here, I think.
Breckinridge County, Nick Carter.
Present.
Butler County, Robert Tuck.
Present.
Campbellsville, Kirby Smith.
Present.
Caverna, Cornelius Faulkner.
Present.
Christian County, Chris Bensel. Clinton County, Tim Parson. Cloverport, Keith Haynes.
Here.
Crittenden County, Vince Clark. Davis County, Matt Robbins. Dawson Springs, Leonard Whalen.
Here and attentive, sir.
Thank you, sir. Edmondson County, Brian Alexander.
Present.
Elizabethtown, Kelly Bush.
I'm here.
Glasgow, Keith Hale. Grayson County, Doug Robinson. Greene County, Will Hodges.
Present.
Hancock County, Kyle Estes. Hardin County, Terry Morgan. Hart County, Nathan Smith.
Present.
Henderson County, Bob Lawson. Hopkins County, Deanna Ashby, she's here. LaRue County, David Raleigh. Logan County, Paul Mullins. Marion County, Talora Slosser. McLean County, was that Talora? McLean County, Tommy Burrows.
Here.
Meade County, Mark Martin. Metcalfe County, Josh Hurt.
Present.
Monroe County, Amy Thompson. Muhlenberg County, Robert Davis. Nelson County, Wes Bradley. Ohio County, Seth Southard. Owensboro, Matthew Constant.
Present.
Russell County, Michael Ford.
Present.
Russellville, Leon Smith.
President,
Okay.
we would like to welcome Larry Begley.
Welcome, Larry. Glad to have you. Science Hill, Jimmy Diehouse. Simpson County, Tim Slosser. Taylor County, Charles Higdon. Todd County, Mark Thomas.
Present.
Union County, Patricia Sheffer.
Here.
Warren County, Rob Clayton.
Present.
Webster County, Rhonda Calloway.
Kensaw Webster setting in for Rhonda today in
Thank you.
Webster.
WKU, Corinne Murphy.
Present. Good morning, all.
Good morning. And I believe we have enough for a quorum. Is that right, Ann? Ann, do we have enough
Yes,
for a quorum?
yes, I'm sorry, I was muted. We do.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. We now have approval of the agenda. I need a motion, and please say your name when you motion so Ann can document that. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make this motion. I'll second Nick Carter.
Thank you, Bo and Nick. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Sounds good. Now we'll turn it over to Bart for recognition of our retired superintendents.
Wonderful. We have several folks joining us today. I'm going to introduce one first, Mr. Tim Murley, and then I'm going to let him introduce some other retired superintendents because he seems to be able to say things about them that I don't think I could get away with or don't even feel comfortable saying. So I will say this about Tim, a couple things. He's been a great mentor, almost as good as Gary feels for me. You know, Gary was my mentor and I lasted 3 years in the superintendency. So I don't know if Gary considers that a failed attempt or what, but you know, Tim has been my GRREC mentor and has helped me along the way. I really tried to get him and Lisa to do the Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton version of that Christmas song you heard earlier this morning for so a little Christmas cheer, but he said he didn't think he could pull it off. I know Lisa could. Tim has also supposedly been painting at his house, but I don't see any paint on his clothes or any kind of drop cloths anywhere. I think Lisa's probably doing most of that work as well, as if I had to guess.
No.
So that's all the mean things I can gather up to say about Tim Murley. I'll turn it over to him and recognize him as one of our retired soups from Warren County.
Thank you, Bart. I live in cell hell, so if it goes off, I apologize. But I'm working now a little. I work as educational consultant for Alliance. They pay me to wear their clothes, and I like them a lot. Lisa is working me like a rented mule here at home, and I am painting with another little crew, this house, and it's about killed me as well. 2 granddaughters, love them so, and one on the way. I did survive COVID thus far. I had COVID about 5 weeks ago, and that should give hope for all of mankind if I can come through that. So, Bart, you want me to introduce the rest of the superintendents?
For you too. I can help you with who all's in. I do see Dr. Fred Carter. I know he's here with us today. and you keep going and I'll keep looking for the next ones.
Yeah, you give me a name. You can't say anything bad about Fred Carter. I don't know what he does. I never have known what Fred does, but he looks the same as he did in 1984 when I met Fred Carter. Whatever he does, he's doing it.
I also see Mitch Crump on here as well. Tim, if you want to give a shout out to Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch don't look the same as when I met him. He's still riding around, I think, with Wendell, and I never did know what Mitch did much. But no, he needs to take lessons from Fred.
Jim Flynn is here. Dr. Jim Flynn is with us this morning.
Yeah, my friend Jim Flynn, and he is my friend. It's hard to say things about Jim, except he's milking that KSS thing, I'm sure, and doing well with it. And he is doing a great job with KSS, I think. Of course, he is superintendent for like 80 years, so he should know what he's doing in that.
My friend Scott Howard, who has now joined the GRREC team, we're going to introduce him later as a new GRREC employee, but right now we want to recognize him as a retired superintendent. At least he was retired for a few months.
That's a good deal. He's a good man as well. I heard that Scott and all of Butler County was so happy that they celebrated for a long time when Scott retired, and he will do a great job at GRREC. Scott's a good man.
Thank you. I don't know, I'm just going to read some others. Is Dr. Brake on here? Dr. Nick Brake on here from Western, currently with Western. I see some of our Western friends on here. I don't know if Nick is on this morning. Butch Canty, Ohio County. Is Butch with us today? Don't see him. Randall Jackson, our friend Randall from Allen, has he made it on?
I doubt it.
You can say something about him anyway, and
He can't figure out how to make it on, I'd say. Randall don't know he's retired. He does the same thing he did for the last 12 years in Allen County right now.
Oh, and I'm going to add a shout out to my friend Leon Smith, and Tim, you can say what you like, but I do want to say to Leon, Leon's got 2 chairs this morning. He's the superintendent of Russellville Independent for 16 more days or so. And then he goes back to being a retired superintendent, but I just want to give him a shout out for leading Russellville so admirably and well for 8 years. And he's cleaning up all my stuff from the last 3 years for the last 6 months. And he's turning it over to Larry Begley, who is also with us today, and I'll introduce him later. But shout out to Leon Smith. Tim, you want to add anything?
Just the legend, Leon Smith. I mean, what can you say about Leon Smith? You know, one of the board members in Russell said he's like a bad nickel. He just keeps coming back. He said he'll stay gone for a while, but he'll be back. You can't say anything bad about Leon.
Leon, Mitch, anyone want to? Normally we get a chance, we're doing breakfast for y'all to give us an update and how things are going. So Dr. Carter, Mitch, Jim, Scott, Leon, you've been talked about this morning. Anything y'all want to add?
Hey, Bart. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You know, it's good to see Tim. I tell you what, it does give me hope for mankind if he survives COVID. Somebody as old as him. But no, Merry Christmas, early Merry Christmas to everybody. And so good to see all my colleagues and friends again. And, you know, I sitting in on the round table a few minutes ago, it brought up some really good feelings and then some really scary feelings too. So I know it's tough times for everyone, but it's great to be joining you and look forward to talking to you in a few minutes about the STAR grant.
Thanks, Scott. Jim, Mitch, Leon, Fred.
Hey, Bart. Good morning, everybody, and wish everybody Merry Christmas. Thanks for the card and the breakfast gift card and all that. That's very thoughtful. And I just got to say, you know, I'm still flabbergasted that Tim Murley said something nice about me. You know, worked with him forever, and I think that's the nicest he's ever been to me. So, well, thank you, Tim. So, But anyway, enjoy working with you all and appreciate what you do. And I'm proud to be a GRREC alum, so to speak, but also pleased that I get to continue to work with you all in my role as the KASS Executive Director. But anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thanks, Jim. The word on the street about Tim is that he saw the ghost of Christmas past during one of his COVID episodes, and so he's being a little nicer to everybody since then.
I am. Was Wendell and Butch not on?
I think I don't see. Wendell, are you and Butch Canty on this morning? We have them on our guest list.
You know, I think, Bart, we missed a great opportunity with them and not leading through this pandemic, because they were in the last pandemic in 1918. They were superintendents.
I'll pass those good words and kind thoughts on to them. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Leon, Fred, Mitch.
Bart, I'd just say thanks to Tim for taking it easy on me. And in terms of appearing the way I did a few years ago, I have to, because I'm chasing around with all these new superintendents every year and trying to keep up with them. So I keep on the move. And then I still got a 12-year-old. I'm still educating a kid here at home with all this, all these lazy superintendents who don't want to have school and everything. And that's not you, Gary. I know you've been having it all the way through. So I appreciate all of you. I really appreciate GRREC. It's been a big part of my life, and you guys are wonderful. I love every one of you. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Doc. Mitch, Leon, anything you want to say, feel free. If you don't want to say anything right now, that's okay too.
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. It's been a joy to be back for the last 6 months and to see a lot of old colleagues, but a lot of new faces have changed just in the last 3 years. And again, I want to welcome Mr. Larry Begley from Floyd County into the Russellville School District. And I sent him a text this morning and told him he couldn't be coming into colleagues that will be supportive of him, and appreciate your all support for him as you have done for me. So God bless everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you, Leon. Mitch, anything else you want to bring to the table there? Are you with us? It says Mitch is connecting to audio, so if he gets on, we'll certainly come back to him later. At this point, we're going to Miss Ann Burden, who's going to recognize our guest with us on this special meeting.
Okay, good morning. We have got Dr. DeSander and Stephanie Martin, both from WKU. We have Joe Roberts and John Roberts from Roberts Insurance. Up on the agenda later on, we have Matt McCarty from KSBA and Dr. Carter from KASA. We have Chris Tyler from Thermal Equipment Sales, Sarah Little from Energy Optimizers, Ruth Webb from First Kentucky Securities Corp. We have John Tinsley from Alpha Energy Solutions. Again, we have Mr. Mitch Crump from RSA, Aaron Mudd from the Daily News. We have Megan Garton from American Fidelity, Jenny Chappelle from Benefits Resource Group. We have Janet Lively from Schmidt Associates, Mr. Don Bratcher from Bratcher Financial. We have Mr. Tim Murley from Alliance, Bob Tarvin, also from RSA, and we have Greta Hilton from KDE. If I left anyone out, just go to that link at the very beginning of the chat box and enter that, so I'll have that for the minutes, please.
All right, thank you, Ann, and we do want to welcome all of our guests. We will now go into the approval of the consent items. I will need a motion and a second on these items. Please state your name when you motion. I need a motion to approve the minutes from November 4th, 2020.
Matthew Constant, so moved.
Thank you, Matthew. I need a second, please.
Kelly Bush, second.
Thank you, Kelly. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All All right. Next, we have our financial statement as of November 30th, 2020. I need a motion on that, please.
Kirby Smith, so moved.
Thanks, Kirby. I need a second, please.
Bo Matthews, second.
Thanks, Bo. All in favor, say aye.
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 Next, we have our payment of bills as of December 11th, 2020. Need a motion on that, please.
So moved. Robert Tuck, Butler County.
Thank you, Robert. Need a second, please.
Second, Cornelius Faulkner, Caverna.
Thank you, Cornelius. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And next, we have our notification of bills paid as of December 11th. I need a motion on that, please.
Motion, Tim Schlosser.
Thank you, Tim. I need a second.
David Raleigh, second.
Thank you, David. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
All right. All consent items have been approved. Next, we'll turn it over to our Executive Director, Bart Fleener, for action by discussion.
Thanks, Kirk. Also, Kirk, I know that Tim Schlosser has joined, and I think we have some other people that may have missed the roll call that will join. If you come in and you weren't here for the roll call, I know that many of you are in other meetings this morning. Just send me a text or email me after, and we'll get you added to today's roll call as well. Number one, approval and extension of AEPA bids. That's attachment number 5. I don't know that we need to have any discussion of that. Just asking for approval on that.
Okay, need a motion on approval and extension of the AEPA bids.
Michael Ford, Russell County, so moved.
Thank you, Michael. I need a second.
Second, Butler County.
Thank you, Robert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Attachment number 6. I just want to approve update our standing committees, please.
All right. Hopefully everyone had a chance to look at that. So we need a motion to approve the update standing committees.
Leonard, Wayland, Dawson Springs, so move.
Thank you, Mr. Whalen. I need a second.
Kelly Bush, second.
Thank you, Kelly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now we'll turn it over to Bart again for the Executive Director's report.
Yeah, I will say on the standing committees, I want to welcome Joe Murley. I think he was on. I think I see him this morning on the meeting. He'll be replacing Jeff Herron, who has retired from Bowling Green Independent School. So welcome, Joe, and thanks for joining us on the bids committee. Ann Burden does an outstanding job with that and continues to do so throughout the year. So I see those emails come through and appreciate the work that she does along with our folks who serve on the bids committee. I believe I'm sharing my screen. It should say Executive Director 12/16/2020. Let me know if I could just get a thumbs up visually, those of you that can see your screen. If you're good, you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. All right. I feel like, sometimes you say, well, am I beating a dead horse here? But I think this quote from Wayne Young, every month, I almost take it off the meeting because I thought, well, we used that last month, but then I look at it and I think, well, it's still pertinent today. So Wayne advised us back in the spring sometime in a KSA, I think a Zoom meeting, to act reasonably based on sound information. And the information just keeps coming at us fast and furious. It's an infodemic as well as a pandemic. You've heard me say that before, but I just want to reiterate that I continue to be impressed very much by your connection to your school communities, the factions that you're working with, the fact that sometimes those factions want different things, but you're trying to serve kids, serve your student team members, your adult team members, the way you're making decisions, the way you're clearly explaining them and communicating them. I want to encourage you to keep up the good work. I hope that you get some rest in the next 2 weeks away from it, turn it off, get away. But that I've just been so proud of all the superintendents in the state, but especially our GRREC superintendents, watching you this fall, getting to visit with you this fall and see you in action during very challenging times. You may feel lonely sometimes in your role, but I'm hearing many of you share the same thoughts, concerns, fears, and joys of things that you found in ways to succeed and help people during this very, very difficult 2020. So I'll just say that. Speaking of GRREC superintendents, we have a recognition this morning. Many of you all know and have seen this already, but I want to be able to also, as Patricia says, would y'all please stop talking about me? Everybody's been talking about it for 2 weeks. I've heard enough. Let me get back to work. But I haven't gotten a chance to say my 2 cents about Patricia and what she means to me and GRREC. We've talked about the CARES Act a lot. And when I think of the word cares, I think about Patricia. She cares about folks. She cares about us at GRREC. She has served in the role that Kirk is serving in on the executive committee. She serves at the state level on KASA and at the national level on AASA, and she cares about us as her colleagues. She deeply cares about her adult team members in Union County. I visited this fall and got to spend the afternoon with her, and she couldn't stop bragging on people and telling me stories about what her people are doing on the team there. She continually says, well, it's just my team, and she's very humble, but I tell her that great teams can't do it without great leaders, and we know that great leaders can't do it without great teams, but she is a great leader and well deserving of the 2021 KSA Superintendent of the Year. And if you notice in the picture here, I wish she could share this with us today, but I think, she's going to use the excuse that because it's virtually, she can't share this fabulous cheesecake. But Ann Burden, renowned cheesecake maker, drove over to Union County on Monday and presented her. I've never seen a double layer cheesecake from Ann. So this is a special occasion when the double layer cheesecake comes out. And she presented
I will
Patricia.
sell those cheesecakes, Mr. Flinger.
What's that?
I will sell those cheesecakes.
Absolutely. If you're looking for something in the next 2 weeks, Ann is ready to bake. She does this on the side and does it fabulously. And this one, Patricia may have to tell us all about it. I don't know what's in it. It looks like some really good stuff. But I just wanted to take time this morning to recognize and congratulate Patricia for her award. She welcomed me in as a superintendent and couldn't have been more helpful in the 3 years that we worked together in that role. And I've enjoyed getting to see her in action in my new GRREC role. Patricia Sheffer, 2021 KSA Superintendent of the Year.
Thank you, Bart, for the kind words. You're so sweet. Not as sweet as Ann Burden's cake, though. I can promise you it's no longer 2-layered. The first layer is gone, and it will be showing on me later, but every calorie was worth it. I can't thank Ann enough for all she does for GRREC and for me personally. She's been wonderful, always there to assist us with anything we need with APA. Just tremendous lady. We love her. But if you've not had her cheesecake, you need to order one today. She has every flavor you can think of, and she's willing to make new ones because this was a Heath candy bar one, Bart, and she had never done Heath before, but it turned out just beautifully. And most delicious cake I've ever had. So thanks again, Ann, for that. And again, Bart, thank you for your kind words. And I definitely am blessed to have a great team and wonderful colleagues that are surrounded around me that helps, me make great things happen for other people all the time, especially the people on each and every person on this screen today. They have been around me for the last 10 years, and I can't think of any better people to have here with me, support me. So I appreciate everyone, and even the retired ones. I'll go back even to Tim Murley. There are times he has helped, I guess I should say, Bo, but I appreciate everything each one of you have done for me. And it's mostly just surrounding yourself with great people and networking. The networking at GRREC is just remarkable, and the people there have been so helpful in anything I might need. So I appreciate it. Again, we'll turn it back over to you, Bart. But thanks, Ann, for the trip. I hate that you drove 2 hours here to bring it, but I truly appreciate it. Like I said, I might not in January when I can't get back in these pants, but it was delicious. Thank you.
I thank you so much, Patricia. We're so proud. I believe I saw Miss Morgana step on just a minute ago. I know I saw her. I think she's still with us. Morgana, I saw you a minute ago. Are you on there? Oh, there she is. Okay, awesome.
I am. Good morning.
Good morning. Patricia, we are coming back to you for the next slide because we don't want to wait till June to recognize and honor our retiring superintendent from Henderson County Schools, Morgana Stanley. And I've asked Patricia to give us a few words this morning. I love the picture in the middle. I don't recognize those three ladies. I mean, that was a few years back, I guess. I don't know. I mean, or maybe you still look the same like Dr. Carter, but we were joking about the before and after pictures that people take when they go into new roles. So Patricia, I'm coming to you to honor Morgana.
Okay, Morgana's probably the only one that still looks like that, to be honest. She's the young one of the group. So I'm honored today to recognize Morgana for sure. So hello, friends. It's wonderful to be here. I'm glad Morgana could join us. It's my pleasure to share with you a few words and thoughts about Morgana, who's retiring after 30 years of dedicated service to public education. Morgana is leaving our world to start another phase of her career as an entrepreneur of her own business. As I offer my congratulations on this new role, I have to also temper it with the words of Abe Lincoln, who said, "The trouble with retirement is that you never get a day off." As someone who frequently passes through Morgana's hometown of Cordon, I secretly hope that sentiment rings at least partly true. I've had the great fortune of sampling some of Morgana's treats, so we may see each other a little more often than we do now. As important as they are and will be going forward, I didn't get on here just to talk about her delicious cupcakes. No, I want to use this opportunity to express my gratitude for Morgana's many years of hard work, collaboration, and camaraderie through the years, and for all of the great times that we've spent working together. Like me and most of us here, Morgana started her career in the classroom, where I know that a large portion of her heart will always remain. I know that she never will forget the fundamental joy that we as educators see when a connection is made with a student. Instead, she used those moments to guide her throughout an impressive career. Yes, in all the roles she served in Henderson County, Morgana was mindful of the students within her heart and worked hard to make the decisions with them in front of her mind. This is the truest test of a servant's heart. Although we've held several roles similar throughout our careers, I was most excited when I heard Morgana's hard work and continuous growth within Henderson County Public Schools earned her the role of the superintendent a bit over 6 years ago. Like me, a few others in this room, Morgana became the first woman to lead in that role and served as a source of great advice at every turn as we navigated some uncharted territory together. I'm proud to say that she excelled as superintendent and continued to be the reliable, confident, and thoughtful colleague that she had always been to me throughout our career. During those years, we worked closely together in many ways. I'm reminded of our time on the Audubon Education Council, where Morgana always served as an effective collaborator, a cheerful friend, a productive teammate, as well as a valued voice in the big E of education. To say that you'll be missed during these meetings is an understatement, Morgana. You serve faithfully and fully, and I appreciate it. I know that I'm not the only one who will miss your thoughtful contributions as we all embark upon the future, ever-evolving change that characterize the nature of our lives as leaders of champions for public education. You've always showed up, you've always delivered, and you've always demonstrated the value of effective communication and grace. You have served as a mentor to each of us at several times, and inspiration to many, many others in your professional career. The legacy of a career spent in service to others. We are all proud to have called you a friend and a colleague. Your contributions toward our collective successes will stay in our hearts forever. And while we are sorry to see you leave this labor of love, the memories of working with you will always be remembered fondly. With a grateful heart, I want to personally thank you for always making our challenging work together fun, collaborative, and productive. I sit here today wishing you the very best of luck in your retirement as well as in your new business. I have no doubt that you will find the same level of success in this endeavor as you did your last. May you find your new workplace enjoyable, rewarding, and filled with pages upon pages of 5-star ratings and hefty orders from social media, while never having to once deliberate or defend the decision to simply flip your sign to closed at just the right time. Thank you for all of your time, your ear, and your help through the years. I knew that I could always count on you. And most importantly, thanks in advance for my very own parking space at the Farm Girl Gift and Bake Shop. This isn't a goodbye. It's an I will definitely see you there. Happy retirement, Morgana.
Yay, that's awesome, Patricia. We got a lot of people that feel the very same way. One of the most gracious folks I've gotten to know through my time here in this region. We've got somebody else that wants to say something, and then we'll turn it over to Morgana if she wants to add or respond to any of that. We have Bob Lawson, the Henderson County Superintendent, who's going to get introduced on another slide shortly after this, and he wanted to say a word.
Can you hear me, Bart?
Yes, we can, but you don't get to say anything yet because Bob's going to say some wonderful, kind things about you also. Bob?
So she was probably trying to preempt me there so that I couldn't say it. She never takes credit. You all know that very well. I had the distinct honor of working under Miss Stanley as a teacher, a coach, and a principal. And she's always been a mentor. And I just would like to tell you all this as folks who are her colleagues outside of her district, how she led in her district. And the word example immediately comes to mind on how Miss Stanley led in our district. We have a phrase here, we are Henderson County Schools. And many of you may have something similar to that. Miss Stanley is a Henderson County grad. She's a product also of a local community college. And with her core values and how she is as a person, her husband, Rick, how they are outside of our school district and how she did inside of our school district, she always led by example. And I wanted you all to know that that's her person. It's who she is. And no statement's truer that Miss Morgana Stanley is Henderson County Schools. The second way she led was through service. She always had a service mindset, and really her brand from central office out to our schools has been one of service. And as I had a chance, we're doing some rounding conversations with our principals and other central office leaders, and many of them have been in their positions or in other leadership positions for an extended period of time. And they said, throughout all of them, they said she made it service oriented. And I believe that's because that's just who she is, that she made our central office that way, and she branded our school district that way and built that connection to our community. And the last part is she built to last. She hired the right people and put them in the right seats. She made the right structures so that our organization is built in a way that it can continue to prosper past her leadership. And you all may know she had planned on retiring in June and starting her bakery and her gift shop. And when COVID set in, she knew that wasn't the right thing for her to do for Henderson County Schools. So I see her last 5 months here. She served in a transitional role with a lot of humility and a lot of mentoring and teaching for me. That is really the ultimate example of her leadership. And so it's always a blessing to have a meeting here with Miss Stanley. And it's my distinct honor to succeed her superintendent. And I look forward to working with you all throughout this. So I won't take any more time because I know Miss Stanley would like to say a few words to you all.
Thank you so much, Bob. Morgana, anything you'd like to say? The floor is yours.
Yes, I'm trying to get unmuted. You all have been very gracious and kind in the words that you said this morning. I love the work that I do with the students and with the kids in the Henderson County Schools. I certainly know through our COVID times, if it wasn't for the GRREC superintendents, Patricia, people that we could depend on each other, we all know how challenging the position is as superintendent. Y'all are very kind today to say a few words, and I much appreciate it. And I appreciate each of you all in helping me and mentoring me through 6.5 years. If I can take one more minute, Bart, I'm going to show you around the shop. I happen to be in the shop and a customer is graciously waiting on me.
Love it. Let's get the tour.
Okay, let's tour real quick. So this is what I'm doing. I don't know if you can see. We've got our little display case of goodies. We also have all kind of stand behind things. We have sandwiches are going to start in January. We've got treats, coffee bar, full ice cream. And then, of course, you have to be super busy. We're superintendents, so we like to juggle many things. We have a little gift shop also. And this right here is one of the hot selling items. It's a wooden Kentucky with little ledges on it, and you put your bourbon bottles on it as you follow the bourbon trail. So I certainly still have started another adventure, but I hope that this serves our community. Corden has maybe 600 people in it. It's not a real large town. My husband grew up in Corden. And Saturday, we were crazy busy. It was the first day we opened, but yesterday was the day that made me think, this is what the bake shop is about. We had 2 kids who came down and they got an ice cream and a cupcake, and they sat here and ate together in the shop, and then headed back up. Of course, I asked them if they already had their Google Meets finished. And then we had another lady come down and pick up just a small item, a couple gifts, not expensive. And she was happy to just come local here in town and be able to shop. So I hope that that's what our gift shop can do, is kind of serve Corden and make it a gathering place, because we don't have a place like that here in town. So that's what I'm up to. Anytime any of you are in Corden, you have a free cupcake waiting on you. Please stop in and see me. I appreciate you all and the help and through the years, and it's been great. I love the work.
Thank you so much, Morgana. We're going to miss you, and we love getting to see the action this morning. It's like an MTV version of Cribs or something, Farm Girl restaurant style. So we got to see it. I love it. We'll fire up the GRREC bus and bring the staff over when we can get out. When we get out of COVID, we're coming your way. All right, so there's a lot of connections this morning, if you couldn't tell, but
that'd be great.
We want to go ahead and go to the next slide. And I was, Morgana, we were probably a little short on time because we want to get to Max Wise, but it'd probably be remiss if I didn't I don't know, Morgana probably can't see the slide, but Morgana, we're introducing the new GRREC superintendent, Bob Lawson from Henderson County. Anything you want to say, and in closing, if you want to shout out in the transition. I think you're muted. I think you're talking, but I think you're muted. There we go.
There we go. Please take time to welcome Dr. Bob Lawson to the GRREC. He is a phenomenal leader, and he is very true to his core on what he believes and what he does. He is good for Henderson County, and he is the right person moving forward. So I welcome him and know that the GRREC superintendents will as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Morgana. Hashtag Farm Girl. And Bob, welcome to GRREC, and thanks for joining us this morning. We have another superintendent introduction, and he has joined us also this morning. So it's exciting times. I feel honored to introduce you to the new Russellville Independent Superintendent. And I think Leon Smith is still on the call with us as well, but I got to talk with Larry this morning by phone. I know how excited he is. Currently serving as Director of District-Wide Services for Floyd County. He will be taking over as Russellville Panther Superintendent officially on January 1st. Again, another big shout out to Leon Smith for his service as interim superintendent over the last 6 months. Leon, Larry, anybody want to say anything? We welcome you to GRREC and are so excited to be working with you.
I don't want to speak over top of Leon, of course, but both you and Leon both know exactly what I'm getting into. And I want to thank you and show appreciation to everybody that the first two people that reached out to me were you and Leon, and offering help and support. And Leon has done nothing but plug the GRREC co-op and told me that I might be the luckiest person in the world to have a group like you guys to draw from and learn from and share things with. And so the word excited that you used, Bart, was exactly right. And I don't know that anywhere that we all get together, I'll be the proudest one at the table. And so I appreciate everybody. Thanks for reaching out, and everybody that sent me a message. But I did tell Leon this yesterday, and I mean it. I am the type of person that if you say come and see me, don't be surprised if I show up.
It's all good. That's the way it works here in GRREC, and that's the way it works among superintendents. So welcome to Larry. I've got his cell phone on there. I've also had Bob's cell phone there in the bottom as well. So when you get this shared, if you don't have those on your list already or in your phone, please add them. So I'm going to do something right now. I've got some more slides, and the STAR grant is really important to talk about, but I also want to honor Max's time with us. So we're going to go ahead and go to Max Wise at this point. When we ask Kentucky senators and representatives to join us back in the last meeting, we had several, and Max had an appointment that day. He said, hey, but I would love to get on and jump on with you guys in December if possible. So we welcome him this morning, and we're going to give it to him for a few minutes to share with us anything you'd like to. It's great to see you, Max, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Bart, good seeing you. Welcome and good morning, everyone there with GRREC. It looks like I'm gonna have to make a trip down to Corden after seeing the Farm Girl store. So very exciting. It's always a pleasure to meet with you all. I know it's the 2020 norm now is to meet this way, but every time that I've been able to be there in person to GRREC with an invitation from Bart or Tim, anybody in the past, I've always taken that. So first of all, thank each and every one of you for the work you've done, not just this school year, but back in March and every time before that. I offer you grace for what you've had to deal with and overcome, and deal with parents and to deal with situations. So once again, grace to each and every one of you all for what you've had to take upon your shoulders with the time we have with COVID-19. I'm very lucky this morning that I've got a screen. Usually my 4 kids have got the electronics, and especially with virtual learning, it's difficult sometimes. I have to use my iPhone for these Zoom calls. So I'm glad I do have a good mechanism this morning and a back screen back here at the house to be able to talk to you guys and everyone about the upcoming session. When you all had the previous legislators, that was before our legislative retreat. We have a caucus retreat, both the House and the Senate finished theirs up last week. Just wanted to talk, as you all know, if you don't know me, I'm very transparent, very open. You all probably have seen my push for in-person education. I think I've gone on as many newscasts and written as many op-eds as possible. Those are mostly coming, I know, from my title as the Education Committee Chairman in the Senate, but it's also as a parent, and it's someone who's got 4 children, 4th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, and 12th grade, and has seen the impact that we've all seen. So I think a lot of times it's easy to take the legislative hat off and to talk openly as a parent. And I won't be in this seat forever, but while I'm here, I'm going to push for things that I truly believe in, and that's for getting our kids back in school. I want that done in a safe way, and I think we all agree that we can do it safely. I think going back to August, each and every one of you all had a plan and you're ready to go with that plan. And then it got pushed back, and it just feels like it's constant been a yo-yo in starting and going and stop and go. So I do hope with whatever is going to be coming out here in January, my faith and trust is in each and every one of you. You know your districts, you know your school boards, you know your communities. And I know that you all will be able to have a safe way that we go forward with education in Kentucky. For the Senate, our #1 priority this session is going to be the budget. I think priority #2 is the budget. Priority #3 is the budget. Any other outside legislation, I'm not for sure we're going to have a bandwidth to do a whole lot of things this upcoming session besides focusing on a budget. And to do that in 30 days is going to be insurmountable. I can't tell you how difficult that's going to be. 60-day sessions. We've done it. This is the first time for a 30-day session. So I hope we have everything teed up and ready to go. I think it's thrown so many different wrenches and things. We look at what FEMA has done to you all. I think you probably are well aware of this. I don't have to go into detail what the federal government probably had in terms of promised, and you all have filled out grants and forms, and then to find out that money is not there. We need to make sure our federal delegates have been communicated with. I'm in Congressman Comer's district. He and I talk at least once a week on different issues, and he is very aware of the FEMA money. But I encourage you, if you're in Congressman Guthrie's district or any of the other ones that are out there in West Kentucky, that you guys are making contacts right now with your federal delegates to make sure that Congress is able to help out when it comes to CARES money and FEMA money that's out there. There's going to be some discussion about teachers' pensions. I think the bill is going to be dropped today. It's going to be pre-filed out of the House. That does not come through the Education Committee. It'll come through state and local government. I'm not a member of that committee, but I think the bandwidth and everything that I've been hearing is for new teacher hires. I know Jim Flynn's on this call, and he's probably got some more insight than I do because of his working relationships on some of those issues that have happened this interim. They have tried their best. I think they've tried to bring all the stakeholders and shareholders to the table. As you all know, I think the #1 leadership skill is listening, and I think that needs to be done more than ever. But I think also it's very hard with sometimes we have other type of education splinter groups that are not K groups that sometimes try to get involved, and they're maybe not brought to the table and they think they should be. So that's difficult to bring every single type of group that's out there with teachers groups. So we'll see what happens. I can't say that bill will pass with any amount of certainty. Once again, it's a House bill, so I don't know. You're probably going to hear about scholarship tax credits. I think they're calling them some type of educational savings plans that are out there. Once again, that'll be a House bill. I do think COVID has shown parent choice in a lot of aspects, even those in the public school, of choice between virtual learning, in-person, or hybrid. So there is going to be a push, just like we've seen in the past, for some type of educational savings accounts that may take place. Once again, on the Senate side, we have not discussed this at all to see if that even has any room or not. But if we're also talking about a tight budget and with funding mechanisms, I'm not for sure if that's going to be part of an overall tax reform plan or not. I've been an advocate for tax reform. And when I mean tax reform, I'm talking about consumption-based tax reform of lowering the state income tax. I want to get to a Tennessee model as a legislator, but I know we can't drop the state income tax all the way down to 0. We have to take different levels at that. But I don't want to tax retirement. I don't want to tax savings, and I don't want to tax income. I want to do consumption-based tax reform if we do that. Once again, that's a House issue. I hate to keep punting the football to the House, but any measures of taxes and revenue and money must start in the House first. And so you got to think, they've got 75 Republicans now in the House. They've got 13 to 15 new House members coming on board. So they're going to be drinking from a fire hydrant their first session. So their focus needs to be on the budget, and we'll see what other type of bills are out there. In our interim committee meetings, if you followed us with education, my focus has been all about COVID. What lessons have we learned? Where are we going? What are some opportunities? My first meeting in January in session will be bringing in 4 teachers from the public schools, a special needs teacher, a high school, middle school, and elementary, all from different parts of the state to talk about COVID and especially about virtual learning, hybrid models, and things such as that. I appreciate my superintendents. I've learned from them. I've heard from them, but I need to also hear from teachers. They all are within the school walls, as you know, and I want to make sure that I do give them the respect and the time that they need to be discussing education as we go forward. One thing that has been brought up is about 3rd grade reading levels. We discussed this last session. Read to Achieve is very near and dear to a lot of legislators' hearts because of the impact and the success we're seeing. We do not want to hurt that at any portion of this, but we have looked at 3rd grade reading level. But one of the things that it comes down to is money. You all know this. It comes down to funding and the ability to put the funding where our mouths are as legislators. But I do think you'll see a bill this session that will deal with some type of aspect. The Pritchard Committee has worked on this. We'll see what momentum that has out of both the House and the Senate. I don't know yet where that bill will start. Representative Tipton from Spencer County and Senator West out of Bourbon County are the ones that have led that. We'll see where that measure goes. The last thing that we did have in terms of our committees that we did hear upon is the push to reduce the amount of assessment and the amount of testing onto our students and onto our teachers. We know that there's some savings we could look into of maybe cutting out some of this. I think that needs to be looked at. I hear from so many of my constituents. I hear from students in my college classes about teaching to a test and the amount of pressure on testing. I think we need to make sure that we're committed if we're going to do that. And that's going to be working with our new commissioner. Actually, my first Zoom call this morning was at 8 a.m., 7 a.m. Central, a one-on-one with Commissioner Glass. I wanted to hear from him about school reopening. I want to hear from him about his vision. It was very productive. I will say that. My biggest complaint in all of this is just been the lack of communication, to you all, the superintendents, to not have a plan. And that's not your plan. I'm talking about from the executive branch saying, when are we going to get this? Because parents want to know, students, teachers, you all know. I'm preaching to 62 people on here that know what I'm talking about. But if we don't have communication, that's a failure in government, and we need that communication in all levels of government now more than ever. So I'm happy to open up to any questions that you all may have this morning, but I appreciate the opportunity to discuss with you all.
Thank you so much, Senator Wise. We've got a couple of minutes if anybody has any particular questions. If not, we can thank Max and we'll move along. Max, we know you guys have big work ahead coming up in January in the spring. So anything you need from us, let us know. And I know we'll be in communication with you all as well to help this partnership. So
that sounds great. And Bart, I would just encourage your members, stay in touch with your legislators. This year, there were not any visitors into the annex. That includes lobbyists. They're going to be off limits to the campus. So now more than ever, make sure before we go in January 5th, you guys have your priorities and you've communicated that effectively to your state reps and to your state senators. And so that way we can hear you all going forward throughout the session. But once again, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the job each and every one of you all have done. And I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thanks for being with us this morning.
You're welcome.
I will share my screen again and we will jump back in. I've got a few slides left and I want to make sure we get to those. All right, are you all seeing mine okay? Crisis response team slide. No. How about now? Okay, great. Very quick update. As you all know, one of the things that GRREC has done for almost 2 decades now is to provide crisis response teams that serve the GRREC region. And if needed, we go around the state to serve. Linda Tyree is doing a fabulous job. She is a former counselor in Butler County. She has replaced Dr. Burt Light, who did a wonderful job before she retired back in the spring. Linda just retired in June 30th, I think, from Butler County as well. She's a new leader of our crisis response teams. She has recently completed training on December 7th, and she spent the last 2 days literally driving around the GRREC region, dropping off GRREC CRT backpacks to the team members. She's texting me at the end of every day how excited she is to meet these people. Ann Burden sent you all documentation at the last board meeting to fill out, just saying that yes, you want to participate in the GRREC crisis response team. And to do that, you would agree to, if somebody from your district was interested in joining, that they would be able to join and you would help them if they had to be out a day or two. We have gone on one trip to Caverna this fall with a crisis response team, and we know that it'll be needed. And there are some areas where we need additional CRT members. I'll contact you individually if possibly about recruiting some folks from your district or having you make some recommendations if needed. And we'll send that form again for those of you that haven't completed it. I think we've got most of them. But she sent that out at the last meeting, and she'll send it again for those of you that haven't completed it. All right. It is time to talk about the GRREC STAR grant. I'm not going to talk very briefly. I'm going to turn it over to Dan and Scott and Brad and our STAR grant team, but I just want to give you briefly. We did receive in October, and we shared this news with you in November, that we've received a STAR safety grant from the Department of Justice. We have hired Scott Howard, our friend and former superintendent of Butler County Schools, as a STAR grant director. We've hired Brad Stevenson as our STAR grant coordinator. This grant is a first for GRREC in two ways. It's the first one we received from DOJ, the Department of Justice. Most of ours have come from DOE, Department of Education. It's also the first one where any GRREC district that's part of the grant consortium, which is almost everybody, all the districts in GRREC, get presented with this grant opportunity. It's for assistance and safety walkthrough, support, helping you meet the expectations from Ben Wilcox and that team, along with the work you do with John Akers and KCSS and the help that they offer. We don't want to complicate this. We want to come alongside and just help provide additional assistance. This grant is not for safety purchases. So even though you're going to receive some support and training, you won't be getting dollars to buy things or help with things like vestibules or Knox boxes or things like that. At this time, I'm glad to introduce Dr. Dan Costello, as our General Ed Services Director. He'll introduce our team, and they'll talk to you about the next steps in the grant as far as specifics go in the next month. Dan?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Bart. Yeah, I'll start off with the best news, and that is the hiring of our personnel. So Scott Howard, I've asked him to be ready just to say hello. I know he's already spoken this morning, but Scott, you want to just say hello to everybody?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thanks a lot. And Bart, thank you. I thank GRREC for the great opportunity to be a part of this grant, and look so forward to working with Brad. And I know you're going to get to meet Brad here in just a minute, and visiting the districts and just being a resource and trying to help meet the need when it comes to what Ben Wilcox and his team is doing across the state. So look really forward to getting in your districts and visiting all across the GRREC region. I think we're going to do some great things with this grant.
Thanks, Scott. And of course, Brad Stevenson will introduce Brad. Brad is retired KSP and currently working at South Warren Middle School in multiple roles.
Thanks, Dan. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited about the opportunity to work with GRREC in this program, and look forward to seeing everyone soon out in your districts. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Thanks.
Thank you, Brad. We got the advantage with Brad of having that law enforcement background, which was a requirement, but also the school experience. So that's a good thing. So what are we asking from you all? Turnaround on this is pretty quick, but we want to give you a few weeks to respond. This week, you will hear from one of us here at GRREC. We're going to send you a link, and we're going to get the memorandum of agreement out to get those signatures in the next few weeks. So the first thing I will need from you all or from someone there at your office is contact information for your chief of police or sheriff or whoever the law enforcement agency is that you work most closely with. We're going to send that memorandum of agreement out to them, get their signature, and then send it to you. Once we get their signature, we'd like to ask for superintendent's signatures on that as well. Once we get all those collected, hopefully by January 8th, we'll be ready to roll. And Scott and Brad will be out visiting schools and implementing this grant in full force. So we don't want to make this complicated. That was certainly something Bart and I talked about. We want to make it super easy for you all. So again, I'm going to send you a link this week, probably today or tomorrow, And if you can provide us that law enforcement contact, then we'll get the process started, getting those signed, and then you'll hear back from us in the next couple of weeks to get your signature on as well. So we're excited about this. Talked to Ben Wilcox yesterday. We're meeting with him again today. He's got some great ideas for how we can support their work.
Thank you, Dan. So just to clarify, superintendents will receive a link, and all they need to do at this time is respond to that link with which law enforcement agency partner they'd like you to go to next. They don't have to do the legwork. Once you get the name, in Russellville, if it's Russellville Police Department, the Russellville Independent sends you the name of the chief there, you will send that MOA to them with an email to say, hey, we're partnering with your school. Please complete this. They'll sign it and get it back to you. We'll sign it. And then the very last piece will be just getting it back to the superintendent so they can sign it, and we'll have all three signatures. That way the superintendents don't have to chase down their folks, try to get it signed and all that. Some of you that have your own police departments, I think Metcalfe County and Cumberland County, perhaps, you may just want to go ahead and do it yourself and get it signed, but we didn't want you to have to run around and do that. And when we talk to your law enforcement agencies, we'll let them know that they're just going to be supporting this grant. That means that when we come over, we'll likely invite them to join us. We know they won't always be able to, but that we'll invite them to join us when we can, and that's the MOA. Did I summarize that, Dan? Is that the order of operations?
One thing I want to add too, the only two asks of law enforcement on this MOA is that they collaborate with us, which they're probably already doing, and that they implement the Handle with Care program, which again, they're probably already doing. So it's super simple for them, but I'll also send you a draft of this, superintendent, so you can look over it and you know what we're sending to them and what you'll be getting to sign off on as well.
Great. Thanks, Dan. If you have more questions about that, just please email me or call me, text me, and you'll be getting that link. I'm assuming, Dan, this afternoon.
Yes, I'll try to have that this afternoon, certainly by tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Just a heads up, you've already received this invite, but Wednesday, January 6th, we want you to join us for a Zoom meeting. David Johnson from SESC and I will be presenting this. It's already a packaged webinar. It'll last for 1 hour. We'd like you and your PR person to join us on that day so that we can roll out the Telling Our Story Kentucky campaign. This is in essence a media campaign for us to be able to tell all the positive things that are happening. This is in conjunction, the cooperatives and KSBA have worked together on this. If you cannot do the 6th, you could join the same webinar on the 5th or the 7th. It'll just be presented by different co-ops, but it'll be the exact same webinar. I think WKEC is joining Northern Kentucky on the 5th, I believe, and I can't remember the other co-ops are going on the 7th. But it won't be a huge ask. Don't panic. There's a lot of template strategies already put together. You get to fill in the boxes, and the goal is to be able to send out kind of monthly stories in 2021, and story is a strong word, monthly brags, things, encouragements, stuff about your district, and that'll go out in a united campaign for public school districts in Kentucky to say all the things that are happening, because we know that if we don't tell our story, others will tell it, and it won't be in positive fashion. Excited about that, so I wanted to bring that to you. I talked in the network meeting, so I'm sorry, in the roundtable this morning. So I'll only briefly mention this, and you've got this in the slide anyway. We know that students are struggling, failing or flailing right now with some of our efforts, no matter how sound they may be. Students are disconnected, literally or figuratively. We're going to try to bring a lot of smart folks together on January the 19th and share some of our network meetings. Principals, supervisors, DOS, DPPs, we're inviting you as well. We'd love for you to be a part of this conversation. The topic is student supports for student success during difficult challenges. I liken it in the 4th bullet to interrupted learning like there would be in a war-torn country, or like there is in New Orleans the year after Hurricane Katrina. We have a lot of interrupted learning going on right now for students. we're trying to handle it as best we can. And Dr. Doug Reeves has agreed from Creative Leadership Solutions to help present at this network meeting. So that's January the 19th. I've got a video. I'll save it for the end if we have time. It's pretty short. It's pretty funny, but that brings me to my conclusion. So Dr. Biggerstaff, back to you.
Thank you, Bart, and congratulations again to Morgana, and welcome to Larry and Bob. So we'll move right along into our next report. It's from KDE, Miss Greta Hilton and Joe McGowan.
Hi, good morning. Unfortunately, Joe isn't with me today, so it'll just be me. Just want to take just a moment and say thank you for the opportunity to be here with you this morning and share a few updates, and want everyone to, or hope everyone enjoys a happy holiday and is able to get some much deserved, much needed time away from all of the chaos that 2020 has brought. Couple of things that are probably on the minds of everyone, and has been since late July, I guess, would be the reopening efforts. As you know, yesterday there was a special superintendent webcast to talk about some of the reopening struggles as well as the vaccination rollout. A couple of things just to bring your attention to would include the vaccination survey needs to be completed by all of your districts no later than December 30th and submitted to the Department for Public Health. There's been a lot of questions around whether or not cooperative staff should be included in these, and Dr. Kelly Foster actually sent out some information this morning to executive directors of the cooperatives, and I just literally followed up with that to your regional special education directors as well as early childhood regional training centers. So those staff can be included in the vaccination window, but they will need to develop cooperative lists and include all of the employees who wish to receive a vaccine. And those are also due to DPH no later than December 30th. In the area where it asks for the local district and the county, obviously the county in which the co-op exists would be what goes there, and then instead of the district name, you would just put in the cooperative name. A few things that are super important to the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. We are in the midst of a special education monitoring visit, which it's just great timing, right? With COVID and reopening struggles and everything else that's going on, and the Office of Special Education Programs has decided it's a great time to do a monitoring visit of 8 states for their Part B and or Part C special education programs. So we are in year 1 of that. It's actually a 3-year monitoring visit. Year 1 is the discovery phase. So we are working closely with OSEP to look at all of the components of general supervision under the IDEA. We've gone through the initial call, which was the fiscal responsibility. It was actually pretty well done, pretty well. I really don't think it could have gone any better, to be honest. And then up next, we'll be looking at integrated monitoring and supports. This is probably super important to districts simply because as we engage into years 2 and 3, as of now, OSEP plans to also include or engage some local education agencies as well. So we'll see where that goes. Obviously, if if COVID is still in the same place, 9 months from now as it is today, they may do virtual visits, but they're planning on in-person visits. So I will be sure to keep you guys updated as we go through that, either from me or Mr. McGowan. And then the other thing to pay attention to would be the Kentucky Board of Education will have its second read for the updates to the accountability system. So if you weren't able to review that from the December meeting that occurred a couple of weeks ago now, that's archived online. So I would encourage you just to take a look at that. And then I guess those are really the big ticket items that I wanted to just touch base with you today, but more importantly, to say happy holidays and take advantage of much needed time away. Hopefully you're able to do that. I know there's no such thing as downtime, but hopefully you're able to spend a little time away. So do you have any questions or comments for me?
All right. Thank you, Greta, for the update. Happy holidays to you as well.
Thank you.
We will now transition to the LSAC report. David Raleigh, do you want to talk about that?
After our previous last two meetings, I sent the notes to Ann, and I think she's included those in the packet. So, rather than go over those things item by item, if folks have questions, they can ask those, and either you or Keith or myself can try to answer those questions. I think one of the things that a couple things, and Greta just alluded to it, is the accountability system that went through the LSAC, and then LSAC recommended that it have a second reading, and so I think that's what the Board of Education decided to do. I think one of the things that this group needs to understand is that in the past, there typically would be a second reading on everything. So the LSAC would see it, and then two months after, then send it out and get some feedback, stuff like that, and then 2 months later, we could then have a second reading on it, which would then also give the writers of those amendments an opportunity for revisions. But what we found out recently is that to expedite matters, the Kentucky Board of Education said, we feel like we could just go ahead and do one reading. I think they feel like that by giving public a chance to comment, that's sort of like the opportunity to, for that time that typically we would have in between readings. So then I think Commissioner Glass has come back and said that, well, maybe some of the stuff we can do that way, but things like this accountability model, where it's going to need lots of stakeholder input and a lot more time for superintendents and other leaders in districts to take a look at this, stuff like that, have to have a second reading. So just so that everyone knows that we did look at it on what was the date, the 24th, and made a motion for it to go through the second reading process. So it had its first reading with the Board of Education, I think, already, and then we'll have a second reading in February. So just to kind of catch everybody up on that. And other than that, Kirk or Keith, you guys have anything else?
No, I don't have anything else. I would just encourage everyone to look at the new accountability system and the proposal. And if you have any feedback, to send that, you can send that to us and we can forward it on, or you can send that directly to Rhonda. So.
Thanks, David, for taking those notes as well and sending those. That's very, very helpful. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, we'll move into the Superintendent Advisory Council. Matt, Cornelius, or Deanna, do you all want to speak? I take that as a no.
We're getting lots of advisory notes from right now, Kirk. I think we're good.
Okay, we'll move on then to Dr. Murphy with WKU report.
Good morning. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all the happy holidays to all of you. Before I get started, I just want to double check. Do I have permission to share my screen? I do. Okay, great. There is a part that I want to share with you here shortly, and that actually has to do with, on Monday, the Educational Standards Board approved student teachers to serve as substitute teachers for your districts during the spring semester. And so while that's not the biggest thing on your plate right now, I do know that staff strain and attendance is a challenge that you all are facing. So what we've done is we've put together, and I'm going to pop this on your screen here, we've put together some initial guidelines and policy, for lack of a better word, on how we can manage this. The legislation prior to this approval on Monday prevented student teaching and hours spent in student teaching to count towards, I'm sorry, substitute teaching. It prevented substitute teaching and the hours spent substituting to count towards the student teaching requirement for licensure. And so that was a barrier that you all were facing. And it is in some ways meant to protect the student teaching experience, which obviously is the culminating mentorship opportunity to gain that initial licensure and is pivotal in making sure that our teachers are well prepared for that first year of teaching. So we don't want to, we want to maintain that level of protection and make sure that that is a solid experience. And so these guidelines, which I will send to all of you via email later today, and which Stephanie Martin is going to send to your related HR liaisons within your district. These are meant to provide a framework for us to consider how do we manage substitute teaching and student teachers in a way that allows you as districts to have the flexibility that you need given this opportunity for spring, but also allows us to make sure that the integrity of the student teaching experience is maintained throughout. So we've separated the two, what we think of as two main categories of types of substitute teachers for you. The first is what we called intermittent substitute teaching. There may be a better name for it, but as you all are managing, you know, these new regulations and trying to put things in very quickly, we are as well. So, so we called it, for better for worse, intermittent substitute student teaching. And so this is the idea that you have a day where all of a sudden you really got to make a staffing change and you need to pull that student teacher into another classroom in your building or in your district. And so that's going to be a short-term situation. And so we've said there would be up to 5 days of intermittent student teaching available to you to manage your staffing plans as you include possibly student teachers as substitutes within your district. If it were to go beyond 5 days, then that would be a trigger point for us to have a conversation between WKU and the district so that we can figure out what is the need and how can we make sure that we've got everything under control. The other category is what we call long-term substitute teaching. And so this would be something that we could work together on a case-by-case basis to approve 1 month long student teaching, or I'm sorry, substitute teaching assignments that would count still towards student teaching. These long-term substitute assignments would probably be, well, preferably be in the certification area that the student is seeking. And so, but this is a much more individual situation. I know right now we're working specifically with Russellville on a couple of options that they have. And I think maybe Cumberland and Breckenridge. So I know some of you have already reached out. So I'm the point person, and you can always also email Stephanie Martin to have a conversation. We are going to share this information with all of our student teachers. Student teaching substitute teaching certification, as you all know, is a district specific certification. So they will have to work with your HR departments in order to achieve that certification. So EPSB is still requiring that application process and that certification process. So it's probably unlikely that you'll be able to use this as of January 4th. But however quickly you all want to work with the student teachers who have been assigned to your districts to get that certification, if that's something that you're interested in, this is the framework that should allow that to happen. So before I go through the rest of the report for WKU, are there specific student teaching questions that anybody wanted to put on the table right now?
Hey, Dr. Murphy, this is Michael Ford in Russell County. Is this only the specifics, for instance, 5 days and the intermittent, is that governed by EPSB, or is that how Western is handling it?
That's how Western decided to handle it, because we needed to put a framework around.
Sure.
EPSB just kind of said, hey, you can do this. And we said, okay, well, that's great. We also have 187 student teachers in our district. So we wanted to have a starting point for conversations. Now, that's not a limiting factor, Michael, and I think that's a great question. If your district ends up with some unique circumstances that has to extend, beyond 5 days, I think it's just a point where we want to have a conversation around it, because what we also have in here layered is some additional supervision expectations for both the district and our WKU supervisors, so that we can make sure that we have a student teacher who's serving as a substitute, who's actually doing well and isn't floating out there by themselves and in need of additional supports. So
Absolutely.
Great question.
I like the idea that you said for the long-term subs, if that had to be to make sure it's in their certification area, what they're going. So don't take a P5 and put a student teacher in chemistry class.
That would not be effective for either the student teacher or those students. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep. Good.
Thank you.
Of course. Other questions? Okay, so yes.
Dr. Murphy, this is Leon in Russellville.
Hi, Leon.
If they do their substitute teaching, will they be able to receive payment for that, or will that just be in lieu of their contract to fulfill their student teaching?
No, they will be eligible to receive payment from your district. So the expectation would be they would be paid as a substitute teacher in the same way that you pay your substitute teachers in your district.
Thank you.
Which we're excited about, because as you all know, one of the part-time jobs that can help students get through is, waitressing or hosting or serving in part-time positions, which many of those have been furloughed because of the pandemic. So this is a bit of a win-win in many ways, as long as we're monitoring it and making sure everybody's comfortable with the arrangements. So, okay, great. Couple more updates for all of you. The next update is actually some also great news, but it's a little longer term thinking. So we have approved, and we're the first in the state to have a K-12 literacy certificate. And so the K-12 literacy certificate, which aligns with a lot of the legislation, but it also, I think Senator Wise was, of course, wise when he said that the best partnerships are built on listening. As we listen to all of you and what you need in your districts, we know that literacy is certainly a focus for that. And so the literacy P12 certificate, it's 15 hours of graduate coursework that includes topics on literacy development and instruction, assessment and intervention of reading and writing, content area and disciplinary literacy, and diversity and equity in literacy education. It will lead to the reading endorsement, so it will lead to an additional endorsement opportunity for your teachers, and it is also stackable such that students who complete it will be halfway through their master's degrees in either literacy education or the new advanced teacher education master's degree that you heard about last week and this week. So we're excited about that, and we hope that it serves to fill a need in your particular districts. So that's one. We also have some exciting news, despite all the crazy that is going on in the world. We are partnering with the Kentucky Association of School Administrators in support of school administrators' access to our EDD program. That does lead to the title, appropriately so, of Dr. Well Earned. And it is the partnership will provide specialized cohort opportunities for our school administrators that focus specifically on Kentucky-specific problems of practice. And so we'll be integrating the AASA, which is the Leadership Challenge principle model, and with an optional path for superintendent certification. So we're working to collaborate around those two integrated opportunities. The first partnership cohort will actually start this summer with a focus area on leading diverse learners, and it will be at a discounted tuition rate of $450 per credit hour. So we're excited, and I want to extend my thanks to Rhonda Caldwell at KASA and Fred Carter. If you could make sure that you share those very public thanks. We're excited about this new partnership, and we think it presents a great opportunity for our school administrators across the state of Kentucky. And then finally, before you leave on Friday, if you can think of just 1 minute, and I'll email you on Friday to remind you, we want to make sure you remember that Distinguished Educator Awards, the nomination period is now through January 31st. So recall that there's several categories for the nominations, and your teachers are eligible with simply a letter from you. So we'll send you those details, and all nominees will receive a congratulatory letter of recognition from WKU, and each winner of the categories receives a plaque, a cash award, and are forever posted to the wall of honor, honoring their service to your districts at WKU. So that's the report. Questions?
Dr. Murphy, I don't think I've seen the email yet from Western about the awards. Have you all sent that out?
I'm going to send it on Friday, Michael, so it's the last thing that you guys see. We might have posted something a couple weeks back, but you know, who knows what happened a couple weeks back, right?
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. We appreciate the information. Look forward to continuing working with WKU. Next, we have a report from KASS, Dr. Flynn.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all, and I've enjoyed the meeting, and congratulations, Dr. Murphy, on some great announcements there. So appreciate all that WKU's doing. Can you see my screen there? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear, Jim.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. So just real quick, I did send you an email update, and so much of this information is there. I just want to hit some highlights, but of course we had our convenings over the past couple of weeks, and I appreciate those that were able to participate. I do have a video of yesterday's convening that is available if you weren't able to. Unfortunately, the first convening on the 8th, I was not able to get that recorded, but we've had some good sessions, and I hope it's helped to equip you with more confidence and knowledge and skills to be able to advocate for public education effectively. You all have done a great job at GRREC communicating with your legislators, but you got this slide about our priorities there, and you know the budget's the big thing. You heard that from Senator Wise, but those other priorities are also important, and I want to let you know that we're working hard to advocate for those, but we need each of you to do your parts in talking to your specific legislative delegates about the importance of these issues. But if I can help you, feel free to reach out to me or Greg Coker, our contract lobbyist, on this. You know, we're continuing to enact our strategies, and in fact, we're going to have session 3 of our legislative preview series on January 12th. We're trying to coordinate with some education cooperative activities on that same date. So we'll put that out in terms of the specific date that we'll do that. But it, again, will be January 12th via Zoom, and we're going to focus on specific strategies, and we'll have a better lay of the land in Frankfurt, because they will have finished their first week of session. The published calendar right now says after that first week in January, they're going to have 3 weeks back at home, and then start full in force at the beginning of February. Just note that they can always change that calendar leading up to that, but we'll keep you apprised of that. But again, there's no more important advocacy that goes on than you meeting with your actual delegates at home and talking about these priorities. So I encourage you to keep doing that. To help with our strategic communications and deployment of our initiatives throughout the session, I encourage you to complete this form if you haven't already. In fact, right now you can take your phone, hit that little QR code, and it'll take you right to the form. We're trying to make sure we have information about who can help with who from a policymaker standpoint. So leveraging your relationships with legislators, people in the executive branch, or folks on the Kentucky Board of Education will be very important as we move forward. So please take a little moment to do that so that we can be as strategic and effective as possible in our advocacy efforts. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Greg Coker. There's Greg's contact information. We stand ready to help you with any of your advocacy needs. I will mention a couple things that came out of some GRREC districts on background checks, and we talked a little bit about that earlier. So we'll keep you apprised of some possibilities there that we're working on. And then in a previous education co-op board meeting, the superintendent asked specifically about liability relief, and we've gotten some traction in both the Senate and the House to address that. And we've also been in communication with Leader McConnell's staff for some federal relief on that side as well. So hopefully something will move there so that we're not spending our time and resources on frivolous lawsuits, especially in light of some of the announcements recently in terms of changes of orders that might be coming our way. The latest I've heard on the governor's executive orders, it's likely to be Friday before that's released officially. So stay tuned. Just a couple of announcements I already mentioned. Session 3 on our preview series there. Pencil in the 12th, and we'll get the exact time of that out to you ASAP. But we're planning a short but very powerful strategic session to help with our efforts to advocate effectively with the Kentucky General Assembly. And then also, as we announced yesterday, CAS is offering a 2-part inspirational, motivational Zoom training series that I think everyone will enjoy. Greg Coker's done a similar presentation to well over 1,000 folks in some other areas of the work sector, but he's tailoring this one to superintendents, and I think you'll enjoy it. Feel free to invite some of your team members in your district to join you for this as well. There's registration information on the latest update that I sent this morning. And then finally, we have rescheduled our CAS conference for May 2nd through 4th. So look for information on that, but go ahead and get it on your calendar. We should have hotel information for you pretty soon. And got a great lineup there, and all of our presenters will be able to move to the new dates. And so it's going to be a great conference session. And then I'll close with, again, how important it is for us to lead the way and coalesce around and lead from a common voice on our advocacy priorities and to tell our stories. Our co-ops have done a great job with some training that's going to start on January 5th. I think GRREC's having a session on the 6th. And so this is a great opportunity to build a framework and get your folks engaged in this. But if I can be of any help, let me know. And otherwise, again, have a Merry Christmas, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thanks, Jim. We always appreciate the work and the advocacy that you do on behalf of the superintendents. We appreciate you. Next, we will have Dr. Fred Carter with KASA.
All right. Thank you, Kurt. Good morning again, everyone. I'd like to emphasize KASA's excitement with concerning the partnership with WKU and the opportunities which will be provided to you as district leaders and the members of your staff as a result of this. Dean Murphy, Dr. DeSander, Dr. Bray, Ms. Martin of WKU worked with Owen Saylor, with Dr. Caldwell, with others at KASA to ensure the success of this partnership. And we look forward to this initiative and to additional partnership opportunities afforded by this new memorandum of understanding. As a proud WKU alum, I say go Tops. That's great. You should have received probably about 11 o'clock this morning a postcard of announcements from KASA by email. And please take time to read those and to respond accordingly. Highlights include an initiative called KASA Now. This provides access to live 90-minute virtual professional development events scheduled with the nation's most respected educational experts without the travel costs normally associated with most professional learning of this quality. The first session is just around the corner. It's on January 21st, and it features Dr. William Parrott, author of From High Poverty to High Performance. To view the full schedule of sessions and to register, just visit www.kasa.org or contact Owen Saylor at owens@kasa.org. An additional announcement concerns a special roadmap call on Thursday at 2 p.m. and that's Eastern time. Please make note of that. KASA is hosting this roadmap call in response to requests from you guys, from superintendents across the state. This follows the governor's announcement Monday and the commissioner's webcast Tuesday afternoon. The agenda is being designed by several superintendents, and several of you have had input in that. It will be shared today. In addition, legal counsel and advice around the vaccine will be provided by KASA legal counsel Wayne Young. Many of you have already received the calendar invitation for this call. If you were missed somehow and wish to participate, just email Miss Lisa Ducker at lisa@kasa.org, and she will get you signed up for this roadmap call. Finally, the annual pictorial directory superintendents was mailed to you last week. If you did not receive your copy, contact Wanda Darland at KASA at wanda@kasa.org, and she'll promptly send you your copy. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone from our KASA team. We appreciate you, and we hope you'll find some time to relax and unwind a little over the holidays as we all reflect on the reason for the holiday season. This is all my report. Thanks, Bart. Kurt.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. We appreciate KASA and the work that you all do for us as well. So thank you. Next, we will transition to Matt McCarty with KSBA.
Hey, good morning. Good to see everybody today. First, just wanting to, if any of your board members haven't already completed all of their training hours for 2020, they have just 2 weeks to get those in. So I just remind them to make sure they've got their hours, and if they need to finish some, to contact KSBA about ways to do that. And then wanting to mention that KSBA will not be able to hold our annual Legislative Education Advocacy Day this year in Frankfort. So instead, we're encouraging districts to set up meetings with your local legislators between now and the end of January to talk about the issues that are that impact your district and schools. Primarily funding is always big, of course. And our Director of Advocacy, Eric Kennedy, he'll be sending out some ideas to you soon for ways you and your board members, things to consider as you meet with your legislators. That's really all I have today. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays and best of luck as we turn the corner into 2021.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate KSBA as well. Thank you for your report. Do we have any other items to discuss not on the agenda? Questions? Agenda items for future meetings? All right, our next board meeting will be February 3rd, 2021 at 9:45 a.m. I'm sure we'll do the roundtable before that. I do want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Thank goodness 2020 is almost over. And we look forward to our next meeting. Everyone, please stay safe and practice all of our healthy guidelines. I hope everyone continues to remain healthy. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Michael, Russell County.
Thank you, Michael. I need a second.
Second, David Raleigh, LaRue County.
You, David, all in favor say aye.
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 Great. This meeting is adjourned.